Keisha, Wes here from Supreme Book Dealer, and it brings me great pleasure that I get to share with you this book that I loved reading, right? So the book that I am talking about is called The Essential Dykes to Watch Out For, written and illustrated by Alison Bechdel, who wrote this other amazing book called Fun Home. So if you ever have the chance to read either this book or Fun Home, I highly suggest you do it because they're absolutely fantastic. And we're gonna jump right in. Let's talk a little bit about Alison Bechdel. Alison Bechdel is an American cartoonist, and she is from Beech Creek, Pennsylvania, right? And as I said, in addition to this, she's written many other books, one of them being Fun Home, right? And this book, it sits at about 390 pages, and it was published by Mariner Books. And this book actually was a comic strip, right? It was a comic strip, and that comic strip ran from 1983 to 2008. That, my friends, is a long amount of time, which is also an indication of how good this is, right? So let's talk about it, right? It's very difficult for me to talk about what the plot is, but because the comic strip ran for so long, there's so many different plots going in different directions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pick a few characters and I'm gonna talk about maybe a little bit about their plot, and we'll just go with that, right? So we'll start with the main protagonist, who I deem as the main protagonist. I feel like she is the central character that the story revolves around. And her name is Mo Testa. And Mo Testa is unemployed when we first start the book. And then she gets a job at Mad Women Books, Mad Women Books, right? And during that time, Mo falls in love. She has, I think she falls in love twice. She has two girlfriends, one of them being Sydney, who is a doctor. And that's who she kind of ends up with at the end. She is a feminist, and she will argue tooth and nail with pretty much anybody. And I love Mo as a character. Sometimes she's a little annoying because she makes everything political, but why not, right? But I enjoy who she is. For one, she ends the book with being a librarian. And when I was a kid, I wanted to be a librarian as well. And I don't know, she's just such an interesting character, right? A very, very, not one-dimensional, right? She has so many different, you can love her, you can hate her, you can be annoyed by her. And I think that's what a central character needs to be. It's so much interesting stuff that she does, that she says. At times she can be hypocritical. At times, that's pretty cool, right? So that's Mo, right? That's one of my favorite characters, Mo, right? And then we have her best friend, who I think is her best friend. Her name is Lois. Lois is a drag king. And I had no idea what that meant. But apparently that is a woman who dresses up like a man, right? And there are drag king shows, which I think that's pretty cool. So what I really enjoy about Lois is, well, Lois is very promiscuous. That's not what I enjoy about her. I'm just throwing that out there. But what I do enjoy about Lois is she has this very carefree attitude, right? She doesn't care what you think about her, right? And she doesn't care if you talk about her. And that is such an admirable character trait for any character, right? But she's gonna do whatever she wants. And she sleeps around, I'm not gonna lie, sleeps with a lot of women, but she also doesn't care. Like, she doesn't care what anybody thinks. And I love that about her character. Now let's talk about my favorite plot. And it is between these two characters named Clarice and Tony, right? So Clarice and Tony start the book off just in a relationship, right? They're in a relationship. I think Clarice cheats on Tony, but they stay together, right? They end up having a baby named Rafi. They also end up getting married. And they have their marriage, and they have their trials, and they have their tribulations, and Rafi grows up. And then towards the end of the book, the two of them get divorced. And what I enjoy about this plot and Tony and Clarice's relationship is how real it is. Like, it is not projected as being like happily ever after. The two of them, like these two women, they get in fights, they argue with each other, they think about cheating on each other. It's so real. And I think that's what I love about this book the most, is how real it is. I get this window into these women's lives, and I get to see their stories unfold, because their stories are realistic. They are stories that many other women go through. They're stories that many members of the LGBTQ community go through. And I think that's just why I love this book so much, because it's real and it really makes you think. And yeah. So, in closing, I just want to thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. If you want to continue the conversation, let's do it. Continue it in the comment section. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the page, or subscribe to the channel, should I say. And if you have any book recommendations, comment or send us an email at supremebookdealer@gmail.com. And what else should I say? Yeah. Be well. And as always, keep reading. Peace.